the inspection of the register and the publication of the same in all the 40,000 plus polling stations across the country. And of course, on social media, we've seen a lot of pictures of wrong details that have been keyed into the system. And these are coming up every single day, continuing to raise questions as to how credible this register is.
There's two things, I think, in that conversation with IEBC in terms of their preparedness that came in, which I think is still hanging. One, it's about the register. I think we think the register simply need to be printed. I mean, it's law. They have to print the register. If that is going to assure the Kenyan people, it's not about these guys. It's assuring the Kenyan people that it is open and it's very, very clear. The second one is about the presidential ballot printing with algorithm, which we have put in very specific recommendations. Now that we are not appealing, we're not appealing that. NASA is appealing, but again, in the spirit of helping IEBC, we said, let this presidential ballot be printed, but also put in some security parameters where our agents are there from the sealing process, where they actually put in their seals. It's very clear and transparent how those boxes are transported to Kenya and how they move to the polling stations. I think all those two go into simply assuring the Kenyan people, giving them the reason to believe that this election will be fair, will be credible, and that IEBC is doing what it needs to do. So the call, I think, is IEBC right now. If there is any people who need to rise up to leadership, it's IEBC, based on the history and what the Kenyan people are demanding. So Chebukati and Ezra simply need to rise up and stop listening to these people who are fighting out here and do their job. Right.
Kotieno, the voter register is one thing NASA has had quite an issue with Raila Odinga being very vocal about it. And every day, like I mentioned, there's always an instance of wrong information being keyed into the register. Your thoughts on how this can be rectified just 14 days to the election?
These are self-inflicted kind of trouble, because IEBC ought to have published this register 60 days to the general election. And they wait until a private citizen goes to court, actually filing a petition compelling them to publish this register. I think that is not fair, because these are people who are living on taxpayers' money. They ought actually to do their work diligently, and they need not to be reminded through petitions. I want to tell you, the reason as to why we are very serious with this register is because we've learned from the past mistakes, and credibility of an election is as good as its register. If that register is compromised, then even the entire outcome will probably be compromised. And that's why we are saying, if there are names, if there are IDs, if there are issues within this register, these are things which could have been cleaned long time ago. KMG was given a contract. They never lived up to expectations. Then when you inform IEBC, they're saying there is nothing we can do. That's how it is going to be. The most important thing, I know it is never too late. It is never too late. What they need to do, upload this register, inform members of the public that it is there. If there is a problem with their, biometrics or even with their ID number, go to your nearest IEBC office and actually do corrections from there. Rather than they are seated pretty, actually waiting now for complaints to come when people would be voting. It will be a waste of time. It will be a waste of time. A good election actually starts way back, and it also encompasses the credibility of this register.
Right. Weda, your thoughts with regard to the register?
I want us to look back. IEBC gave out and published a timetable of events from the massive voter registration to compilation to availing the register for inspection and so on. What happened? NASA went to their friendly judges and got various injunctive reliefs. And IEBC started gasping for air. They didn't know now what to do, because there is injunction there, injunction here, injunction here, injunction here. With those injunctive orders in place, work stopped, and time was not waiting for NASA or Jubilee or Third Way Alliance. Now we have caught ourselves into a place. We have put IEBC where NASA wanted it, where it cannot run affairs so that they get confused and they can't run elections. Mistakes in the register have been there since independence. They are always there, either spelling mistake or this. And IEBC, as I know now, they have a number where you send electronically the way you're supposed to do it, because they want everything electronic, electronical, and it brings back. It tells you this and this. Now, the NASA supporters are not doing that. The few who have done that and have seen mistakes, they have been shown, go here and have corrections made. Right. It is okay that the public is entitled to the register, but to blame it that this is a design for rigging and so on, it's just trying to continue throwing mud at IEBC so that whatever elections they conduct, however good, however diligent, is supposed to look bad. When somebody wants to make you bad, he'll look for little mistakes. I wish they adopted the policy of third way allowance, honesty. Where it is honest, they say this one is honest. Where it is bad, they say it's bad. But this one, it is designed like IEBC is favoring Jubilee. IEBC is favoring. Yet those who are designing to frustrate elections are NASA. Right. Well, they are also planning to rig, but they are cheating that it is other people planning to rig. If they challenge us, we'll show them evidence how they are planning to rig this election.
Zai.
You know, they can't be third way. You can't be third way because simply you are not configured to do what is right and honest. You see, that we need to go back in history in this country in terms of the issues that we've had during elections. Whenever there is an incumbent president, there's always been an issue. Okay, and right now much of this oscillation is really the same thing. Okay. We need to protect this constitution and rule of law. What we have seen in the last 5 years between them is simply breaking of laws across the board. And this is, I think, the peak of it right now. That now everyone wants to simply hold on to this position, the positions that they have, and they take us to the other 5. Our proposition to the Kenyan people is, you do not need this. Ekura Okot and myself are coming up to give solutions to this country. It's not about eloquence. It's simply honest. We have not stolen anyone's money. We have the right ideas for this country on how we protect the constitution and bring in rule of law, how to stop the theft of public funds, and much of this, the protection of the institutions that we have. Right. We cannot have it on our side. We simply have this conviction that they have no solutions for this country, and it's time for them to go. In fact, tunawaambia wafagiliwe wote. And
of course, we'll be hearing Ekuru Court tonight on the presidential debate. Gentlemen, we're out of time. Kotieno, let's have your closing remarks.
My closing remark is that we are only 2 weeks away from these general elections. Those 2 weeks are actually monumental insofar as credible election is concerned. IEBC actually just need to put its house in order. Do proper communication, do their things in good faith, then let them leave the rest to the people, because I am tired of people saying we are praying for peace. We do not need divine intervention for us to live peacefully. What basically we need to do is to ensure that the variables for conducting a free, fair, and peaceful elections are done, so that peace will just be a byproduct of those variables. Right,
right. Weda, your final comments.
All I can say is that if you love Honorable Raila Odinga, if you love Uhuru Kenyatta, if you love Ekuru Aukot, Wainaina, please prepare to go and vote for them. But none of these people is worth anybody's blood. Do not hurt your brother or sister because of any of these people. Kenya will be there after that, and some of us will also come in and lead this country. So don't die today. We need you in another 30 years.